After a very quiet offseason, the Cubs have finally spoken, or at least they have agreed to a deal with a superstar pitcher out of Japan. Shota Imanaga and the Cubs have agreed on a deal pending a physical today in Chicago. Welcome to the Cubs Baseball Channel. I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for being here. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you know when we're live. Let's get this party started. Go Cubs! What do you say, everybody? I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball Channel, on the socials at Broadcaster Mick. And I want to remind you that right now, this show is presented by the Tennessee Smokies Team Store. Find out more at smokiesbaseball.com/store. All right, let's talk about the news. The Cubs and Shohei Ohtani didn't work out, but they were not deterred, and they kept going strong, and finally they make their first move this offseason. The Cubs and Shota Imanaga, like Ohtani, from Japan, and they make a deal pending his physical to add the starter, a left-hander, to the rotation. The southpaw, a 2.80 ERA, a 29.2% strikeout rate in 148 innings last year for the BayStars in Japan. This is a guy that the Cubs, the Giants, the Angels, and the Red Sox were all rumored to be in the mix for. Jim Bowden of the MLB Network said that it was down to those teams. It started to be reported from Japan and other places. Even The Athletic that covers the Cubs kind of had the feeling that this wasn't going to happen, and it was unlikely. And that was kind of the way that a lot of us felt. But in the 11th hour, the Cubs swoop in and they agreed to a contract with Imanaga, reportedly $15 million per year. The years on this could be $4, could be $5 million. Not quite sure yet. But this is a big pickup for the Cubs. They get a guy that's left-handed and has a pitch arsenal that includes 5 different pitches. And this reported by some pretty big hitters in the world of reporting. John Morosi and John Heyman of the MLB Network, and then Bob Nightingale of USA Today. All those guys reporting that this is happening. So Imanaga has been part of the Yokohama DNA BayStars in Japan, and he's been one of their best players. Has pitched there for a while. He joins the Cubs rotation that includes Justin Steele, Jameson Taillon, Kyle Hendricks, Jordan Wicks, and then I'm guessing him, unless maybe there's someone else that slides in there, and you got Ben Brown, who could possibly battle for a spot. And of course, Cade Horton, the Cubs' #1 pitching prospect, who has shown so much promise. But you really felt like after Marcus Stroman opted out last year that the Cubs needed someone to kind of step in and help them be maybe a #2 or a #3 caliber pitcher in the rotation. So we'll find out if that's the case. Iganama, a 3.18 ERA in 1,000 innings plus in the Japanese Baseball League, the Nippon Professional Baseball League, right? Or organization. He's got a fastball that's in the low 90s. He's got a splitter, a slider, and a curve. He's a strike throwing machine, doesn't walk a lot of batters. And he's going to take advantage, you would think, of the Cubs' very, very good defensive middle infield. He's going to want to put the ball in play. We saw it last year when the Mets added Senga to their rotation at 5 years, $75 million, and he had an earned run average of under 3 in New York with a 2.98 ERA and just over 200 strikeouts and 166 innings. So that shows you not just Ohtani, but other pitchers coming over from Japan and having immediate impact in the major leagues. Senga was also named as an all-star. So think about that. And he was second in the NL Rookie of the Year voting. So you feel confident when you go to Japan and bring players in now. Their league has gotten better and better and better over the years. So the timing could not be any better with the Cubs convention coming up Friday at the Sheraton Hotel in Chicago. His press conference would be Friday. So it's really exciting that the Cubs would make this move. And I'm sure that that would be a great way to kind of start your Cubs career, right? Going to the Cubs convention and getting everybody fired up about you starting with the Cubs. In the Nippon Professional Baseball Organization, pitching for the BayStars, Imanaga, 74-55 in his career, a 2.96 ERA, and more than a strikeout per inning. He's, not a big guy. He's 5'10", but is just able to get outs. 8-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which I think a lot of people really loved as far as front office personnel when they were looking at him and what he was able to do last season. So he's gotten better and better, and he kind of hits his, coming into his prime right now. So the next step for the Cubs is, what are they going to do? They're going to sign Cody Bellinger. I think that's what a lot of us feel like is going to happen. Now, Cody Bellinger, some markets are saying that it's the San Francisco Giants that are the odds-on favorite to land him. I'm still in the category of what Bob Nightingale of USA Today said earlier this week, that I think it's a really easy fit for the Cubs and Bellinger, the relationship that was fashioned last year. A lot of the teams that you would have expected to be players in that market are pretty much off the table. And the Cubs fans, front office, I think everyone would love to see Bellinger as a longtime solution for the Cubs. If the Cubs don't sign Bellinger, then I'm guessing they're going to have to make a move like a Rhys Hoskins and a Matt Chapman. Maybe if they sign Bellinger, they only go one there. But it's been predicted by, again, Bob Nightingale, that the Cubs are going to be very active over the next 5 weeks, the most active team in baseball, adding to the roster that they had last year that came just short. They made the move to bring in Craig Counsell. You figure when you pay a manager the most that a manager's ever been paid, that you're expecting to give him some players to work with. The organization right now is in great health. A lot of young players are going to be there to help out, but it really felt like the major league roster needed some help in areas as well. Talking about the corner infielders, talking about center, talking about at least one more starter, and then maybe some help in the bullpen. So this is exciting for the Cubs. We're going to, just like we did yesterday, we jumped on live when we saw it happening. You want to confirm it first, right? Like you read the report. Is this really happening? And then, you get the wheels in motion to jump on. But you guys are great. It was fun talking to you yesterday about it. And, we'll continue to follow this story and see what happens. But this should all be ironed out. We should have definitive details after the physical on the Cubs and Shota Imanaga. I'm going to tell you, I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised. You never say never in negotiations, but it certainly felt like the Giants had kind of forged ahead as that organization and that team that was going to be able to make this deal. You know that they're competing with the Dodgers. They need some arms. They need some help. But it was the Cubs that were able to get this deal done and or at least agreed on, waiting on that physical to take place. This will make the Cubs certainly better. He joins the Cubs with Seiya Suzuki, another player from Japan, on the roster. So it's not like he's just going to, go in there and not have some comfort with someone else that is from his country that can kind of help him get simulated to what we do in America and Chicago and everything else. So that's great. Make sure that if you're not part of the channel that you guys like and subscribe. Thanks for being here. And we will, as I said before, we'll keep on going. Channel's brought to you by the Tennessee Smokies. Mentioned that. They've got autographs of people like Pete Crow Armstrong and Owen Casey, some of the Cubs' top prospects, game-worn jerseys, bats and balls. They've got Cubs gear. They've got Smokies gear, who just won their first championship in 45 years. Find out for yourself, smokiesbaseball.com/team store. Go Cubs.